If you are a non-technical founder, you probably hired an agency or are thinking about hiring an agency to get you build something like a website, an app, a mobile app, or something like that. So here are 5 things to consider before hiring your next agency. And this is especially for founders who hire externally or outsource when building websites and apps. Number 1, pricing process. One of the biggest mistakes I see both founders and agencies make when starting to think about building an app or a website together is getting into the pricing extremely fast, usually after the first conversation. Founders usually want to go straight to it, thinking like, how much is this gonna cost and how long will you take to get this built? And agencies make the mistake of just getting straight to a pricing or to even a sales proposal extremely fast. So if you talk to an agency and the first thing they do after the first conversation is throwing a sales pitch at you with the pricing and scope, that is definitely a red flag you want to keep an eye on. Building a product is really hard. It takes time to figure out what to build, what not to build, and what are the things you're going to be focusing on for the next few months together as a founder and as an agency. So it usually takes a bunch of conversations for you as a founder to have with either the founder of the agency or the product team behind it until you create some kind of rapport and confidence, and that only happens after spending some time together. So probably not just a single conversation. During these conversations, you'll be able to create a good relationship between each other. And that's also going to allow you to see how this agency actually works before hiring them. So if this pre-sale process is good enough and they're excited enough about your product or your project and they're already adding a lot of value into a business, that is definitely a great way to select an agency. On the other hand, if you don't feel anything like this during the pre-sale process, then maybe they're just not a great fit for you. Number 2, lack of ballparks. Now, having said that, it is very important to get, as soon as possible, a ballpark on both pricing and time. This is very easy. If an agency isn't simply able to say right out of the bat in the first conversation, hey, this is usually how much we charge as a starting point for a website or a web app or a mobile app, and this is usually the minimum it will take. If they're not able to say something like that, you might want to be very careful. Point number 2 is extremely important because that will set the tone for the rest of the relationship during this pre-sale process. So again, the first thing you should do when you talk to an agency in that first conversation, right down in there, this could even happen on the phone or it could happen on email. If you don't get a ballpark on a minimum amount of engagement for pricing and timing, I will suggest you get out of there and get a new agency. Number 3, ask for demos. The first thing an agency should have when you start that conversation is definitely a portfolio with a few case studies. This is basically your main qualification line. If they don't have good case studies with real quotes or testimonials from customers that actually exist, again, it's a red flag. You can even go deeper here and check on the companies that they said they helped. See if they exist, see what they did, see how they did it, see what they do for a living, and also check on the testimonials. Just you can actually go to LinkedIn and you should be able to find these people who left quotes or testimonials for this agency. And that's definitely a vote of confidence and trust and primarily credibility. You could even go deeper and actually contact them through LinkedIn or ask for a referral just to make sure that they can actually give you a recommendation for this company directly to you one-on-one. Now, to me, case studies are not necessarily enough. You want to go a little bit deeper here and actually ask for a demo. So let's say you are talking with this agency and you want to build a mobile app, and this agency has a bunch of case studies from mobile apps. There's a great thing you can do during that conversation, which is actually saying, hey, can you actually demo this app for me? Obviously, in a mobile app context, the easiest thing that this agency could tell to you is like, sure, here's the link, you can download it yourself and use it. And obviously, if the app, for whatever reason, is not available in your region, they can actually demo it out for you, sharing their screen, and you can actually see the app in real time. And obviously, the same applies for web apps. There will be a lot of times when they're going to say for compliance reasons or whatever, we can't show the product. But I think if they have it published in their website, in their portfolio, then they should obviously be able to share their screen and give you a demo of that web app or mobile app. This combined with that pre-sale process and all the energy they're going to put into your project to quote it to you and to actually sell it to you, it's a great combination to actually test waters on how this company actually works and what's the output that the agency can create after the project. Number 4, be really careful with equity deals. I've seen a lot of both founders and entrepreneurs make this mistake where they want to basically even get paid less or spend less money by basically using equity. I've seen founders offering equity just to pay less money for the project. And I've also seen agencies making an offer or a discount on the original pricing of the project just to get a piece of the business. In my opinion, this is terrible advice for both of you, both for you as a founder, and also if you are an agency owner listening to this is also terrible advice. I've heard guys like Andrew Wilkinson on a few podcasts regretting about back in the day when with his agency MetaLab, they were helping companies like Slack design a product. He would regret on not taking equity because eventually Slack blew up and that would have been a great deal. But at the same time, he also insists on the fact that they couldn't make a living and they couldn't survive on equity. And that's exactly the main point on why this is terrible advice. No agency survives on equity. And this can absolutely blow up the project in the near future, because if this agency says yes to your equity, eventually they're going to have to actually find new gigs and new ways to make a living and to make revenue. And that's going to mean a less focused agency on your own product and obviously a way worse output for you. Number 5, be pushy, be pushed. The best founder agency relationships that I've seen happen when both parties are actually extremely pushy towards each other. As a founder, you really want to push the agency you hired as much as possible to get the results you want. You have to follow up on them. You have to make sure things are clear. You have to make sure there's a clear roadmap. And when you have questions and there's no clarity for you, you just have to ask for that all the time, nonstop, until you get it. At the same time, you also want to work with an agency that will push you back all the time, nonstop. If there's something that they're blocked about because you or your team didn't figure it out yet, they have to be extremely pushy with you. This is eventually what will create a very successful project, when both parties are actually holding each other accountable. So there you have it, folks. These are the 5 most important things to consider when you're out there hiring for a website or a web app or a mobile app agency. And these are especially true if you are a non-technical founder. If you got any value from this video, hit that like button and subscribe to see the next one. Ciao.